The biggest myths about Bitcoin and Dogecoin is that Bitcoin is deflationary and Dogecoin is infinite. I was actually just arguing with ChatGPT about this situation, and I figured you guys might want to hear this argument. I think it's really important because this is one of the biggest things that people have to say negatively about Dogecoin, and this is one of the biggest reasons why people invest in Bitcoin. People say that it's deflationary and this is definitely going to just drive the price up to the moon eventually, and I actually will disagree with that because it is not deflationary, and let's go ahead and get into why. But before I do, go ahead and hit that like button and that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos just like this. And let's go ahead and get right into it. I asked ChatGPT to compare the annual coin issuance as a percentage of the total supply between Bitcoin and Dogecoin. It said Bitcoin has a fixed maximum supply of 21 million coins, and the annual coin issuance rate reduces over time until all 21 million Bitcoin are in circulation. The annual issuance rate for Bitcoin is currently around 1.8%, which is coincidentally just under 2% or the actual inflation rate that the Fed is aiming for. Dogecoin, on the other hand, it says, has a circulating supply that is ever increasing due to its infinite supply cap. The initial block reward for Dogecoin was set at 10,000 Doge per block, and it's halving every year. The annual coin issuance rate for Dogecoin would be depending on the current circulating supply of the current block reward, which can change over time. This is true and a really important statement because I've been saying a lot in the past that Dogecoin is decreasingly inflationary, as it does have technically, I guess, an infinite supply, as people say, but that's only because time is infinite. It has a set number of Dogecoins that are rewarded for each blocks, and a block takes about a minute, meaning that Dogecoin has about a 10,000 Doge per minute inflation rate. As you can see by this chart, the current inflation rate for Dogecoin is just under 3.8%, and that's actually what it was before the previous halving for Bitcoin. So everybody that says that Bitcoin is deflationary and that Dogecoin has an infinite inflation rate and is totally out of control really doesn't know anything about the history of the inflation rate for Bitcoin or for Dogecoin. They're just acting in an echo chamber and everybody's just kind of repeating each other, so this myth continues to live on. But I'm here to set everything straight. I asked ChatGPT, is Bitcoin deflationary? It said Bitcoin is designed to be a deflationary currency. The maximum supply of 21 million Bitcoins is set to be reached by the year 2140, at which point no new Bitcoins will be minted. Since the number of Bitcoins in circulation will decrease over time as a result of lost or forgotten private keys, the stock-to-flow ratio for Bitcoin is expected to increase over time, resulting in deflation. While that might be true, and if you do count the lost coins, then maybe Bitcoin is deflationary, but the same thing goes for any cryptocurrency, and Dogecoins have definitely been lost as well. It says Bitcoin's issuance rate also follows a predetermined schedule set in the code, which reduces the number of new Bitcoins issued each year. As the number of new Bitcoins decreases over time and the overall supply is fixed, the value of each individual Bitcoin may increase, leading to deflationary pressure. I said, how can Bitcoin be deflationary if there are new ones that are created every year? It said, you are correct that new Bitcoins are created every year through the process of mining. However, the new Bitcoins created each year decreases over time, following a predetermined schedule set in the code. It basically went on to repeat what it said up here in the previous response. I said, if the number of Dogecoin that are created each year is constant, then wouldn't it be a decreasing percentage of the total supply of coins each year, making it deflationary also if that's the case? And it said the annual coin issuance for Dogecoin is constant in the sense that the block reward is always the same. But since the total supply of Dogecoin is infinite, the rate at which the supply of coins increases is always going to be higher than the rate of mining. So the percentage of the total supply of coins mined each year will always be less than the annual coin issuance rate, resulting in an overall increase of the total supply of coins each year. This would make it inflationary rather to deflationary. It's worth noting that unlike Bitcoin, Dogecoin does not have a fixed maximum supply, therefore it does not have the same effects of deflationary pressure on its value as Bitcoin. Additionally, the value of Dogecoin and other cryptocurrencies are determined by the market forces of supply and demand. It's not linked to any standard measure of prices, such as consumer price index. So it's saying that basically you can't really compare it to inflation for like the dollar, but it also basically says that because there are new Dogecoin that are created every year, it is going to be inflationary instead of deflationary. So I said Dogecoin's total potential supply is infinite because time is infinite. The total number of coins that can be created each minute is capped at 10,000. Wouldn't that mean that the total amount of Dogecoin that is printed next year will be smaller than the percentage of the circulating supply than it is this year? It said you are correct. The total potential supply of Dogecoin is theoretically infinite, but that's due to the fact that the block time for Dogecoin is just 1 minute, which means that every minute a block is mined and new Dogecoins are added to the total supply. So it has an extremely high rate of issuance compared to Bitcoin. Inflation occurs when there's an increase in the money supply, which causes the value of money to decrease, while deflation occurs when there's a decrease in the money supply, which causes the value of money to increase. In the case of Dogecoin, the supply of coins is always increasing and the rate of mining is decreasing due to the halving. But the increase in the supply is always going to be greater than the decrease in mining rate, making it an inflationary coin. So in this argument, I'm not actually trying to convince this chatbot that Dogecoin is deflationary, but I am trying to convince it that the supply of Dogecoin is not actually infinite and that Bitcoin isn't really deflationary. These are just myths. So I said, if inflation occurs when there's an increase of money supply, which causes the value of money to decrease, while deflation occurs when there's a decrease in money supply, which causes the value of money to increase, in quotes, as it said right here in this previous response, and the supply of Bitcoin in circulation increases every year, then how is it also true that Bitcoin is deflationary as you said earlier? Then it said, I apologize for any confusion I caused. You are correct that I made an error in my previous statement, that inflation occurs when there is an increase in the money supply, which causes the value of money to decrease. And deflation occurs when there's a decrease in the money supply, which causes the value of money to increase. This is actually the opposite of what is true. Inflation occurs when there is an increase in the money supply, which causes the general price level of goods and services to increase and purchasing power of money to decrease. Deflation occurs when there is a decrease in the money supply, which causes the general price level of goods and services to decrease and the purchasing power of money to increase. So it's essentially saying that inflation and deflation are not actually caused by the supply of money, but the effect of which the supply of money has on people's purchasing power. It says Bitcoin is designed to have a controlled and limited supply, and the maximum supply of Bitcoin is 21 million coins. With the controlled supply of Bitcoin, it's expected that the issuance of Bitcoins is going to decrease over time, which would lead to an increase in the stock-to-flow ratio, and thus put deflationary pressure on the value of each Bitcoin. The rate at which new Bitcoins are issued is controlled by the algorithm, and this rate decreases over time, which makes the supply of Bitcoin decrease at a faster rate than its demand. This leads to the increase in the value of each Bitcoin, which is often referred to as deflationary. Milton Friedman said that there has been no inflation throughout history that wasn't caused by printing of money, and I would definitely still say that Bitcoin is inflationary on a base level. However, if the circulating supply is going down because there's a lot of it being lost all the time, and more of it's being lost than what's actually being created, then you could maybe say that it's deflationary, but no one can actually prove how much has gone missing and how much is totally unrecoverable or burned, as they say. So I would say that the deflation rate is basically undiscoverable, and all we have to go off of is actually how much is created through mining. In that case, I would say that Bitcoin is inflationary, and I would say that Dogecoin does not have an infinite supply because it does have a set number of Dogecoins that are created for every block, and the blocks happen about every minute. If you can do simple math, then you can see that that doesn't mean infinity. It means that there's 10,000 Dogecoins for every block, and there's going to be 10,000 Dogecoins that's added every minute going forward from here. Given infinite time, yes, it would be infinite Dogecoin, but we're not here for an infinite time, so we have to actually deal with reality. In reality, there are new Bitcoins that are created every single day, and there are new Dogecoins that are created every single day. The inflation rate right now for Dogecoin is at about 3.4 or 3.8%, right in there somewhere in the middle. But if you look at this chart, which is the Bitcoin monetary inflation, you can see that before the previous halving, the inflation rate for Bitcoin was about 3.4%. With the inflation rate right now being 1.7%, you know this is true because the halving is literally the number of coins that are given for solving a block being cut in half, meaning that the inflation rate was cut in half. This happens every 4 years, and it's going to continue to happen until the last Bitcoin is mined. 3.4% is roughly the same amount of inflation that we currently have right now in Dogecoin, and this is what the inflation rate was for Bitcoin before the previous halving. Also, it is better than the inflation rate for the US dollar and what it has been for the past couple of years. So Dogecoin's supply is not infinite and Bitcoin isn't really deflationary, but they are both better than the US dollar when it comes to inflation. ChatGPT was trained by the internet, so it doesn't really know anything other than what people are saying. And like I said earlier in the video, cryptocurrency is basically an echo chamber, and everybody's saying that Bitcoin is deflationary and Dogecoin is inflationary to the infinite has been repeated so many times that AI even believes it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys think that Bitcoin is actually deflationary? Or do you think that Dogecoin is infinite? Or do you think that people are just tripping and they need to do their own research? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, hey, I was just being chased by a bear. Watch out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell too, because I don't want you to miss out on any important updates. And check out this video. Oh crap, I gotta get out of here.